Greetings everyone, and Grade here with another Dawn of War 2 replay. Spawn on the south side as the Force Commander, we have Deimons. Spawn on the north side as the Warboss, we have Critical32. On a map I haven't seen before. This must be a relatively new map. Also, much more green and blue. Not like solid green, but this one does have some water onto it. But honestly, no offense to the map maker, but the water doesn't really fit in all too well. I suppose Dawn of War 2 was not exactly designed to have walkable water, if that makes any sort of sense. Because you can see like this, not exactly seamless transition. But that's no issue by the map maker, though maybe the map maker can figure out something to help make it a bit more seamless, but that just could be the water physics in Dawn of War 2. But either way, let's go ahead and focus on the game. We do have a pretty standard build opener of scouts, tactical marine to scouts. We do got the sluggers and 2 shooters. Pretty standard build opener for both sides. And we've got both shooters and the slugger over here. Both scout and tactical marine squad in this region. And we've got the shooter squad receiving a bit of damage right there, but he does fall back away from point, just falling back to a bit of cover there. Sluggers have not been engaged yet, nor have they engaged. As long as it's going to take time and capture the point themselves. The scout squad being focused on quickly. That's good. They're a lighter unit. It does fall back this unit very early, which does give him some good minimize the requisition bleed. In fact, he retreats them both back. He could have sustained a little bit more damage, but he wants to make sure he doesn't lose any requisition. Slugger's charging on forward. We're going to see some hits there from the Force Commander. Warboss getting some good hits there onto the Tactical Marine Squad. The Tactical Marine Squad decides to fall back entirely. The Tactical Marine Squad could have just stayed there in order to help get the Force Commander in range of the Warboss. And the Slugger Squad does fall back early as well. No models dropped so far. I wonder. We of course got the natural red point income, but that is 0 model drops so far for the Orc player. He is getting out some Storm Boys nice and early. And we do have 1 generator for the Orcs, 1 generator for the Force Commander. And you got the Scouts and Tactical Marine Squad advancing forward. The Warboss has sustained quite a bit of fire. And I just remembered something. I knew I forgot something. I forgot to turn my Steam into offline mode to help prevent the whole Steam can't connect to servers issue I've been having recently. Some boys are jumping on in. Of course, they don't have any stun or knockback until they get their knob leader. And a little tactical jump in there as well to close in on top of that Force Commander. Storm Boys do fall back at all models, just a bit of damage onto them. Shooters do get into heavy cover there, but the Tactical Marines could engage the shooters in melee. Tactical Marines do decently well in melee. And we do have the boss pull being upgraded on the Warboss, which signifies he is the boss. And Devastators have been pointed out. They do go ahead and suppress down the Warboss. The boss pole gives allied infantry in a radius 25, 50% less receive suppression, as well as increased 20% health, which I believe just makes it so they take 20% less damage. Because whenever I see that, I've never seen them actually upgrade and their health actually increase, but I believe it just reduces their damage received. Tactical Marine Squad is falling on back. We've got the Scout Squad behind the capillary tower right there, or tendril. Devastators setting on up. The Warbosses get suppressed there. Storm Boys do lose a model there, but they do manage to jump on in, forcing back the Devastator Marines. Storm Boys do fall back. They're very wounded, and they're far too close to the base Tyrannosaurus, and there's 4 of them. Jeez. They do not want any base trading there or camping the base.
We shall make it so.
Looks like the Force Commander's engaging this shooter squad. And a second Devastator Marine has been deployed out for the Force Commander. That is 5 squads deployed out for the Force Commander. Those Storm Boys are a good option, very good option. I'm not a big fan of Storm Boys or a lot of Jump Infantry, since most of the time the Jump Infantry don't exactly scale all too well, but against 2 Devastators, they're going to do some good work for those Devastators. And they have a lot of work in front of them. And at range. And not in melee. We got the Scouts now upgraded with shotguns. Both Scouts have been upgraded with shotguns, very nice. And the Tactical Marine Squad does fall, make a soft retreat away. And the Burner Squad is withdrawing. Storm Boys jumping on in, trying to get the Devastator Marines. They do get the back one. The other one could pack up and rotate around. Storm Boys who have plenty of energy for another tactical jump, or actual combat jump.
Power generator.
Is a combat jump at the close range jump or a tactical jump? They do jump on in on top of the Devastators once again, or the other Devastators once again, and does force both of them back. The Storm Boys have been doing very, very well. Both Scout Squads getting forced back as well. This point has been activated for the Orcs, getting a little bit extra energy. Does have 3 generators here. The Force Commander has 3 generators as well. Shooter's going to try to change that, but that will take a bit of time. Force Commander, maybe it'll save him. And now we do have the level 2 teleport platform. Ready to teleport to level 2 stuff. Devastators are setting on up. We've got also the shotgun scouts with a sergeant upgrade. Warboss is quite wounded. He may need to get out any sort of basic armor to get some extra health regen. Extra health wouldn't hurt as well. Warboss will need to fall back relatively soon. And now we've got the shooters and Storm Boys. They are being inspired by the boss pool, but they are all falling on back now. There's still a scout out and about. It is this Burner Squad. The Burner Squad could try for the generators once again. And he's been doing a good job of maintaining lack of requisition bleed. If you took a look at the red points between the players, the Warboss has a 250 while his opponent only has 139, so he's doing a good job of keeping his models alive. Good shotgun knock back there onto the Burners.
Location secure. Ready to serve.
And now we do have Death Dread coming on the build queue. That will force out a las cannon. The Devastators, he has 2 Devastators, 4 las cannons. The Death Dread may not actually be a good idea. Because there's so many possibilities of these las cannons. Like, if he forces a response to 2 las cannons, that would be great. Then he can just tech up and go for knobs. He does have a good late game infantry as well. Grenade is thrown. Does void it there with the jump there, and does force back the scouts as well, getting some great AoE damage there. Maybe he should keep the Death Dread unupgraded, because the chance of him losing it is actually quite high with these Devastators. But he will be upgraded the Burn and Blitz.
Are we to accept defeat?
Scout Squad, no sergeant up on this squad here. Burners, we're seeing quite a bit of fire. May see a shotgun nut back relatively soon. Yes, we do. A great shotgun nut back. Soft retreat away. And the Burners will need to fall back. These shotguns will rip them apart. Devastators receive a bit of fire. Now, this heavy Devastator is trying to set on up, but will be flanked by the Burners, but it only has 2 models remaining, but the Knob Leader should be very durable and very high damage. Does fall, the Death Dread does make a soft tree away. This Devastator is not being upgraded with last cannon. The other one is being upgraded with last cannon. The Burner Blitz is burning the generators, though he's in a bad angle there. The last cannon sitting up. He does have angle there on Death Dread, so he can run forward with Death Dread. Force Commander is not being upgraded with Power Fist. Death Dread needs to run over this direction here. It looks like he's going to stomp his way over that direction. And the Storm Boys are seeing quite a bit of fire there as well. The Storm Boys will need to fall back really soon. This Devastator is not being upgraded with anything at the moment. It does take out the Force Commander as well with the Warboss. Storm Boys charge on 4, does force back the Scout Squad. This Devastator is trying to set on up. The Devastators have been relatively effective this entire game, that's for sure. But the Orcs has been doing very well with this positioning there. And Suicide's a model in there on top of the Devastators. Ooh, Storm Boys need to fall back. Oh, so wounded, but they have actually 4 out of 6 models, which would have been killed off himself. Shooters have been upgraded with the big shooter upgrade. You got the Tactical Marine being captured at this point. He could upgrade the Tactical Marine to a Stern Guard veteran.
And drive the
Stern
enemy
Guard
back.
veteran is pretty much a staple in any Space Marine play nowadays.
Scouts under attack. A task unfinished.
Good hit there onto the Scout Squad. Does force him back. Good shotgun knockback onto the Sluggers. And Devastator's aura will suppress down the Burner Squad. Tactical Marines have plenty of health to dance around with, and he does actually fall back to Tactical Marines nice and early to get some healing. Last Cannon, of course, can't do much versus big shooters. Multiple big shooters. Now here comes a Rhino. Death Threat can engage it. The Stormboy has an anti-vehicle melee as well. The Warboss can be upgraded with anti-vehicle melee. There's a lot of options he can use to engage. Stormboys jump on in, does get the force back from the Devastator Marines. And the Stormboys do fall back. The Warboss is severely wounded. He needs some armor.
Ready to serve.
Grenade on the retreat path, very good.
200 points.
And it was pretty good. Oh, of the only model he got the Knob Leader. That is very, very good.
Enemy
The enemy is claiming a victory point.
Force Commander has been redeployed. We've got the Death Dread advancing forward. There is the last Cannon Devastator right there. Finds a hit there on Death Dread. Death Dread is now at risk of going down. He's trying to stomp his wave out of there. And the big shooter squad does fall back.
come a reckoning.
Slugger Boys getting hit significantly. Does lose. No, there's the Knob Leader there. Got him mixed up with one of the Burners.
One of our own has died.
Scout Squad does get forced on back. Tactical Marine Squad falling back as well. Last Cannon Devastator set on up. And so here comes the Stormboys jumping on top of the Devastator. Razorback still over here. No Knob Leader upgrade on the Stormboys just yet. And that Devastator Marine almost get fully wiped. Will be saved thanks to base MGs. Razorback still has been going around uncontested, though it is relatively low damage. Still a very, very durable item. And there's Tank Busters there getting a nasty barrage right there. Razorback down the last bit of health. He needs to use a mortar barrage, but he's probably out of range of the mortar barrage now. Got the scouts advancing forward, trying to tie up the tank busters up in melee. Forces back the shooters, and now here comes Death Dread, Burners, and the Warboss. Being repaired up by the scouts in the front line.
Show me what passes for fury among your misbegotten.
And does get a nice last cannon hit there onto the Death Dread. Good shotgun blast onto the shooters. And the Scout Squad does go ahead and fall back. We do got the Force Hammer upgrade onto the Force Commander, which is mostly a anti-infantry, heavy anti-infantry weapon. And now we've got the tank busters pushing way forward. The Razorback has been fully repaired, got being upgraded with reinforced plating. Stormboys jumps on in. They do have a Knob Leader, hitting the last Cannon Devastator. Kind of a melee mortar barrage on top of some Stormboys. And now the Stormboys will need to fall back. They're oh so wounded. Devastator, last Cannon Devastator will skip on out there with all his models. Stormboys will make out of there with his Knob Leader. Death Dread's going to close the distance on the other Devastator. Devastator does fall back. Force Commander gains some great special attacks there. He may lose this entire shooter. Shooter squad does go down to the special attack there. And the Burn squad's also pretty low as well. The Force Commander may go down, and the Force Commander does not receive any additional melee hits there from Death Dread. The Slugger squad may just want to prep the Death Dread and then retreat back. It's down to 3 models.
We shall make it so.
You got tier 2 for both players. We've got hardly any resources for the Force Commander. 500 red points. Both players are at actually 500 red points at the moment. Tank Busters find a good hit there. Activating the mortar barrage, trying to land on top of it. hits the Devastators a little bit, and the tank versus squad does fall back. Shooters make their advance now. And now here comes Death Dredge stomping his way forward. Storm Boys do jump on in, trying to get some hits on him. Surprise stunning the Devastator. Heavy Bolter Devastator. We'll find some hits there on the Storm Boys now. And the Storm Boy does fall back a lot as well as the Heavy Bolter Devastator. Tactical Marine Squad has been upgraded. The Sergeant still could be upgraded to Stern Guard Veterans. Probably a good idea to upgrade to Stern Guard Veterans. And Scout Squad does go and hop in back of the Razorback. That reinforced plate increases the health by 200. And it's at level 2, so it does get a little bit extra health as well.
We shall make it so. Adding power.
Here comes another mortar barrage. This could be quite deadly. Getting some deadly hits there. Almost takes the Razorback. That reinforced plating saved him. Heavy Bolter Devastator making his way forward once again. And Last Scan Devastator does find a hit there on the Death Dread at maximum range. Tier 3 being researched by the Warboss. The Warboss has gone down at the current level 3. The Force Commander is almost at level 3. And let's see, Scouts will be spotted by these Storm Boys. Storm Boys do have some knockback resistance, but the Shotgun Blast can get at least suppression there. And let's look at the Shooter Squad falling back. Well, since there's 2 Devastators, I still advise against going for any more vehicles. I would say a Knob Squad would be better than a looted tank.
I fear nothing, for I am fear incarnate. Scouts ready to place.
And we got the Tank Buster Squad now following him back.
To one side for armor.
Slugger Squad does get forced back. Storm Boys jumps on top of the missile launcher equipped Tactical Marine Squad. Speaking of which, he's got a missile launcher as well, so it's probably another good reason why not to go for a looted tank. I do believe knobs are definitely the better option. He could be saving up for Daisy. He is going to have plenty of power for Daisy, just needs more requisition. Same thing with the looted tank. Devastator Marines receive quite a bit of fire there. Devastator Marine may actually get fully wiped, does fully get wiped there. That was the Heavy Bolter Devastator Marines. The last cannon one's still up and going. The Storm Boys are falling back now. The Orc player does have still 349 red points, so relatively close to rocks.
Reverse the course of the battle.
Good shotgun knockback there onto these forces. And we do see a looted tank, and like I said beforehand, I disagree with the looted tank.
Go ahead.
Oh, he's canceled the looted tank. He's now going for some knobs.
The enemy has 300 points remaining. On guard.
Maybe this game's like Dora the Explorer. Shout loud enough, and then the players will hear you. Soul Boys do jump on in, try to get the rear armor of the Razorback. They do get knocked around a bit by the Razorback there. It does load the Tactical Marine Squad in there. And the Razorback hasn't received a whole lot of damage right there. The Knob's trying to go for some melee hit. Does get a melee hit there, but of course there's only one model there. Most of the observers are mentioned, like, thinking that maybe Knob's not a good option, but gets the Knob leader there. Tactical Marine Squad's being pursued by the Sluggard. Sluggers receive quite a bit of damage right there and do fall back. We got a lot of more VPs for Red, the Orc player. The Force Commander does have 171 tickets, now 170, while his opponent has 283. Here comes some knobs, and being upgraded to meaner and greener, gain the knob leader. And the Scout Squad does fall back. Do you have a Dreadnought on the field? The Dreadnought is weird option at this point in time. Though he probably did not see the the knobs yet, so the knobs will be effective versus the Dreadnought. Dreadnought is only the melee Dreadnought, and the last cannon is going to be trying to capture up the VP right now. Stormboys capture the central VP. Knobs could engage the Dreadnought. It would be a relatively mutual trade, and now we've got the scouts advancing forward, trying to engage the knobs as well, maybe get a shotgun knockback. Sluggers will see a bit of fire there, falling on back, and we've also got tank busters now hitting the Dreadnought as well. Knobs getting some good damage in there, while the Orc Boys do jump around behind. The Razorback's almost down. The Knobs do receive a big punch, a smack from the Dreadnought, and the Warboss is still actually down. Scouts card receiving a bit of fire there. The Razorback has gone down. Good special attack there from the Force Commander. He may have Battle Cry active. Yep, he looks like it's a Battle Cry active. Going to get some multiple knockbacks there onto the Knobs, the Force Commander right there. The Dreadnought is severely wounded. Tank Busters finds a good burst there. Takes out the Dreadnought. The Knobs will need to fall back really soon. They sustain a bit too much damage. And the Stormboys do force back the Tactical Marine Squad. Force Commander's falling back as well. And now Scouts may go for a Shotgun Blast. Does get knocked back on some of those Stormboy models. But these forces, they're staying in. They're severely wounded, but they're staying in. Another Knob does go down, so that's a Knob leader. And the Stormboys and Knobs do fall back. Over here, got the Burners capturing some points. And it looks like the tank busters are receiving quite a bit of fire right there. Fires a bit of a mortar barrage there before falling back, getting a nice knockback on the Tactical Marine Squad, interrupting the capture. And they have not started capturing, which is big because the Force Commander does not have a lot of VPs remaining. Is going for a plasma cannon? No. I'm not sure what he should go for. Dreadnought will be a good but not great option. That's one of the best he can go for. Gets a nice grenade there. He needs tier 3 to get out Terminators, but he would need to spend a lot of resources and time to get Terminators out. That's not feasible. An extra scout for capping wouldn't be half bad. He did lose one of his scout squads. Maybe scouts in tier 3 to Terminators. That's maybe his best option, but he needs to stall for time, hence the extra scouts. Good shotgun knockback there. Laskin Devastator is still up and going, but the Stormboys do say hello to them.
The enemy is capturing one of our strategic points.
Xeno spotted.
The tank busters do fall back. Shooters advancing forward. Force Commander still only upgraded the hammer. Warboss is still on the ground right here.
Scouts here, ready to serve. No mercy.
I saw something upgraded. Yep, Scout being upgraded to Sergeant upgrade.
Upgrade complete. Scouts ready.
Laskin Devastator does fall back. And a good knockback there. Knobs will be engaging the Force Commander. Got the Battle Cry ability right there. Knocking back these forces multiple times. And he will close the distance there. You got the Scout Squad receiving quite a bit of fire. They do fall back in time. It's going for tier 3 now. He has a massive wave of red punch. Should be able to pull out Terminators as well as Orbital Strike. He needs a very deadly Orbital Strike. And he's doing a good job contesting the VPs, that's for sure. Slowing down the bleed. And the Tactical Marine Squad.
The acceptance of defeat is an invitation for its repetition.
Most of the Force Commander actually surrendered, actually. He could have played around a little bit more. He had a bit of VPs, his tier 3 in the way. He was very close to bringing in Orbital Strike and Terminators. I would say go for both of those before retreating. Or not retreating, surrendering. But either way, this is Angrade saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay.